Hello, this is Carlos Adelia from YourGreatBusiness.com with another session on how to make your business great. And today we're going to talk about equity crowdfunding. And so what is equity crowdfunding? Equity crowdfunding is going to give your company the ability to raise money online by selling small amounts of stock to a large number of individual investors, even small investors. And so with equity crowdfunding, your company will have the ability to raise up to $1 million in any consecutive 12-month period. Equity crowdfunding is not reward or donation-based crowdfunding that currently exists. Equity crowdfunding actually is selling securities to investors. The investors that you sell shares to will actually become owners of your company. And so it's very different than the kind of crowdfunding that you may have heard about in the press or been involved with. So this is the last month of 2013, and as you begin to think about 2014 and your business planning, I think it's important to consider the possibilities of this new way to raise money and access capital. But a word of caution, don't jump the gun. Okay, equity crowdfunding is not yet available legally, and the SEC is working through the regulatory process to actually make it available to you and others. But as we move into 2014, equity crowdfunding will start to pick up speed, and you'll start to hear about it more. And hopefully it will become available during the first half of 2014. So in this video, I want to share with you 5 ways that you can get ready now for equity crowdfunding so that you're not caught flat-footed when it becomes available as a way for you and your company to raise money. So the first way to get ready for equity crowdfunding is to prepare your company story. If you're actually going to sell stock to investors, you're going to need to be more prepared in order to convince potential investors that they should invest in your company. So one way that you can start to prepare your company story is to write out your company's business plan, to explain the actual business concept or business focus that you have, the business prospects, the risks, who your team is, what's the structure of your business and the current finances and how much money you're going to raise. Prepare the business plan, get input from advisors and other business colleagues, refine your story, and get it down so that you can communicate it well, both verbally and in written form. And once you have this business plan, you're going to have possibly a lot more information available than what you have right now. And you'll be able to leverage this information for the preparation of the regulatory filings that you'll need to make in order to raise money with equity crowdfunding. And so this preparing your company story is an important exercise so that you're prepared to launch your equity crowdfunding campaign, that you're prepared to answer questions from investors, and again, you're ready to get going when the lights are turned on for equity crowdfunding. The second way to get ready for equity crowdfunding is to start to gather your company's information. As I mentioned, equity crowdfunding is not yet legally available, and the SEC is churning through the regulatory process, but they've already provided information about the types of information that you're going to need to provide to investors in the regulatory filings and the financial disclosures that you will need to prepare. So you can look at that and start to gather that information and see what you have and see what information you need. Similar to point number 1, you're going to need to explain the company's business, the use of proceeds, how are you going to use the money that you're going to raise through equity crowdfunding, what's your ownership and capital structure, price of securities, the target dollar amount that you plan to raise. You also will have to provide financial statements and provide a narrative of what your financial statements mean. So get organized, get ready. I would encourage you to look at least the preliminary information that will be required to be filed and start to collect and gather and organize that information. The third way to get ready for equity crowdfunding is to hire an accountant. So if you don't have a good accountant on board, I encourage you to start networking to find an accountant that can help you out with the disclosures and the financial information that you will need to provide for equity crowdfunding. As an example, if you use equity crowdfunding to raise anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000, you will need to provide U.S. GAAP financial statements that are reviewed by a public accountant. And if you're going to raise anywhere from $500,000 to the maximum $1 million, you will actually need to provide U.S. GAAP financial statements that are audited by an independent auditor. So these are additional requirements that don't currently exist for a lot of private financings and raising money from investors. So it's important, again, to be ready that you hire an accountant and you start to put some of this financial statement work in motion so that, again, you're ready to take advantage of equity crowdfunding when it comes online. The fourth way to get ready is to hire an attorney. And I strongly recommend that you go out and find a corporate finance attorney with a real strong background in helping companies raise money, and someone who knows how to work with the SEC and make the required filings. If you've been doing the legal work for your company on the side, or you have your friend's brother-in-law helping you do the legal work, you may want to consider whether you have the right person. I think with raising money from investors, you want to have somebody that does that all the time. So you don't want to have an attorney that litigates and does family law and does bankruptcy and estate planning. You want someone who's really focused on helping companies raise money. And so in order to get ready, before you even think about equity crowdfunding, you really want to clean your legal house and make sure that you have a solid legal structure that is ready to take on 10, 50, 100, 300 plus investors as shareholders. So you need to have someone who's by your side that can help you manage a much larger shareholder base and understand the ins and outs of corporate governance and stockholder approvals and just how to navigate an entirely different company with dozens, if not hundreds, of investors. And another point in terms of hiring an attorney, with equity crowdfunding, as I mentioned, you're going to have to make, or your company is going to have to make, disclosures and file information with the SEC. So you're potentially taking on real liability here when you're making these filings with the SEC. So it's important to have somebody by your side that understands the process and how to make solid disclosures with the SEC so that you're protected from a liability perspective going forward. So hire an attorney, do it right, make good disclosures, and really set up a structure that will allow you to take advantage of equity crowdfunding. So the fifth and final way to get ready for equity crowdfunding is to get social. Remember, equity crowdfunding is all about harnessing the power of the internet so that your company can raise money online. And so I strongly encourage you to evaluate your website, look at your blog, examine and review your social media accounts, and start to extend the reach of your network so that you're ready to really take advantage of that network once you turn the lights on for your equity crowdfunding campaign. So you don't want to get caught flat-footed in the final hour, be rushing around trying to establish important connections and relationships with people that can help you out with getting the word out about your equity crowdfunding campaign. So get social, get your team involved, expand your collective network through your email newsletter and your social media accounts. Make sure your blog is rolling and your website is solid and the best that it can be, so that you're really ready to take advantage of equity crowdfunding when it comes online in 2014. So equity crowdfunding is coming in 2014. Do you plan to use it as a new way to raise money for your company? If so, what steps are you taking right now to get ready for equity crowdfunding in 2014 when it comes online? I would love to hear your thoughts about how you're getting prepared for it. Please share in the comment box below, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you very much.